Administration and Finance, Dr. Celia Geronimo, Vice President for External Affairs, Dr. Nicador de la Lama, Dean of College of Engineering, of course, all the members of the faculty and the administration of Bulacan State University, ang at siyang nagtunay na nagsekretisyo at kumuha ng lahat ng paraan para makarating tayo sa araw na ito. Ang mga magulang na nandito ngayon, distinguished guests, of course, our graduates, the members of the graduating class of 2013, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Isang mataimtim na pasasalamat ang ipinapaabot ko sa inyo lahat sa inyong mag-anyaya sa akin dito sa mahalagang araw na ito para sa labis na 500 ng magsisikapos ng College of Engineering ng Bulacan State University. Kasama ng inyong mga magulang, guro, at ang mga mahal dito sa buhay. Let me begin by thanking you for this kind invitation. But I have to think about what I was going to say to these young men and women at this commencement event. I knew about the story that was told about the famous American humorist by the name of Bongbong. He was asked to deliver a commencement address to some graduating students. And he wanted to make his address a distinctive one that everyone would remember. So he stood up and he said to the graduating class that he was addressing, "Remember, we are leaving you a perfect world. Don't screw it up." Then he sat down and said goodbye to everyone. It is, according to some, the shortest and the best commencement speech ever delivered. And I had thought maybe I would follow his concise example today, but I decided against it because this is too important an event to do that. That is why I welcome this rare and fresh opportunity to share some thoughts with you, your families and school officials on this very special day. Dear graduates, it is often said that graduation is one of the few authentic rites of passage in our society. As a rite of passage, it is claimed that it marks a person's transition from one status to another. It looks in two directions. One, retrospective, looking back to the past, and the other, prospective, with an eye focused on the future. Today, you are graduating from college, which represents the end of your formal education. But this ceremony, you will notice, is called a commencement, which means it is also a beginning. A beginning which could point to your new phase in your life. As in other milestones of your lives, it is fitting that your parents are here today to witness you and celebrate this very important rite of passage. I know I speak for every parent here today when I say that this graduation is like the very day when you came into this world. For us, the day you were born was the greatest event in our lives as parents. A wonderful blessing from on high. But even more, we consider it a blessing in the fulfillment of many prayers. Indeed, something for all of us to be supremely thankful for and also proud of. Dear graduates, your completion of your college studies is similarly gratifying and fulfilling because for many years you have studied long and labored hard to complete your course requirements. You have sometimes endured the terror of dealing with difficult and demanding professors. You also have been touched by the compassion and concern of some great professors and mentors. But of all the things that you have learned from your parents and your teachers, let us hope that you have learned this. Values come you have taken. I emphasize this point because deeply held values are the only true foundations we can build our lives on as individuals and in a wider and higher plane as a nation. If you will permit for me to share with you some lessons that I have learned from my grandmother, who was a teacher, from my parents, and from the training that I received both here and abroad. What is most important is that one should never forget the value of hard work and the importance of effort. As one great writer said, perhaps the most valuable result of all education is the ability to make yourself do the thing you have to do when it ought to be done, whether you like it or not. It is the first lesson that must be learned. And however early a man's training begins, it is probably the last lesson that they will learn formally. As you future engineers have learned, a diamond can be described as merely a piece of gold that stayed on the job until it reached its precious state. Ultimately, it is those who stay on the job, and these are the people that become our leaders, our visionaries, the diamonds of our society. Former U.S. President Calvin Coolidge did not exaggerate when he wrote, "Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. The world is full of so-called educated derelics. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent." The slogan, "Press on," has been recognized to have solved and always will solve much of the problems of the human race. Perhaps the most telling illustration of this is that of Madame Curie and the discovery of radio. After the failure of their 487th experiment in the research for radio, her husband, Pierre Curie, cried out in despair, "It cannot be done. It cannot be done. Maybe in 100 years it can be done, but never in our lifetime." Madame Curie turned to him and answered him calmly and simply, "If it takes 100 years, it will be a pity. But I dare not do less than work for it for as long as I live." Sure enough, in the next few experiments, they discovered radio. Talking of perseverance, we see what is happening in Sabah with the Sultan of Sulu, Sultan Kiram and his people. And what they have been doing these past few weeks is also a lesson of persistence. Because the Sultanate of Sulu and its people have been pressing their claim to Sabah now for over 100 years. Someday, somehow, their persistent efforts will bear fruit. But like Madame Curie, till then, we cannot do less than work for it for as long as we live. Recently, I was encouraged to see that some 10 Filipinos are now on the list of Forbes magazine's annual list of billionaires. This is noteworthy because nearly everyone earned their billions through patient toil, ingenious investing, and continuous and persistent build-up of their enterprises steadily through the years. These billionaire compatriots are all worthy of emulation and admiration by all of us. But much as we are awed and dazzled by the large numbers, by the billions that we hear, we must note the corollary lesson that their experience teaches us. Earning and making money is important to be able to support ourselves, our families, our communities. But it is not all there is to life. When I was studying in business administration, I was struck and moved by something that the great management teacher Roosevelt Bosch wrote in the Harvard Business Review. She said, Money should never be separated from its mission. Money is an instrument, not an end. Detached from its values, the desire for money may indeed be the root of all evil. But linked effectively to social purpose, money can be the root of opportunity that could branch out into more abundant fruits and more opportunities for yourselves, for your family, for your country. I'm certain, as well as hopeful, that in their own respective ways, each of our Filipino billionaires is linking their wealth to a useful social purpose. They are providing employment with their business activities. They are providing services to our people. They give to charity, they share their blessings, and they help alleviate poverty. Today, we are seeing more Filipinos succeed in the world. It's not just the huge sums of money, once again, that they are earning that compel our admiration. It's the way that they are succeeding through sheer talent and both skill, and once again, persistence. Manny Pacquiao, our favorite boxer, our favorite champion, is doubtless an outstanding example of this. The 8 boxing titles he won in 8 different weight divisions will perhaps never be surpassed in the record books. But it did not happen in one day. It did not happen in one fight, but slowly and steadily through the years. I am also honored and gratified by the way so many Filipinos are making it on the global stage as accomplished theater and cinema actors and actresses. Then we have our world-renowned performers in the field of music. It is widely recognized now that the Filipino singing talent has become so ubiquitous that contest judges now assume that whenever there is a contestant who sings very well, they must be Filipino or Filipino descent. Jessica Sanchez, we just saw in the news, sang the national anthem, the United States national anthem for President Barack Obama, to his great pleasure. But I have taken time to talk about the great qualities of these achievers and the qualities that have enabled them to become great, because they are undisputedly the products of our country, our culture, and the values that we live by. There are even many more achievers in the fields of science and academics. That to mention them all would take much more time than we have here today. And I know that you are all eager to begin your celebrations. Future engineers. Our country is a community of shared values. Throughout our history, our nation has been carried forward by our people and our values, led by our forebears and heroes. We have risen many times from the greatest trials and adversity by caring for one another, by holding on with tenacity and fortitude and persistence to our deep faith in ourselves, in our communities, in our country, and all that we believe to be true. This century, my dear graduates, is your time. And it is now your turn to shine in what is still a beautiful and wonderful world. As engineers, soon you will have your own careers, most in the private sector, and perhaps some in government, or even in politics like myself. Soon you will be parents yourselves, raising children who are gifted, talented, and brilliant like yourselves. But as you move on, you will have to make choices and commitments in your respective professions and careers. As it was for other generations before you, it now falls on you to meet the challenge of passing on a better country to those who will come after you. Seize the moment. And I say seize the moment because it is only a moment that the window of opportunity will open for you. My dear graduates, I sincerely hope and pray, and I am confident that you will carry the torch we will pass on to you. You will carry it proudly with honor and with dignity. After all, you are a Filipino, a child of the world, a product of creation. Go forth and face that world. This is your time. Once again, to your beloved parents go my deepest admiration and the highest respect for their indefatigable determination, unwavering commitment, and willingness to sacrifice for the pursuit of your proper upbringing and successful education. So as you receive your hard-earned diploma today, spare a moment of thanks and of prayer and of gratitude to your parents for all that they have done to bring you here today. Once again, congratulations for taking and claiming this rites of passage on the day of your graduation. Maraming salamat sa inyo lahat at mabuhay ang Bulacan State University.